Hey guys, Michael Hicks here with Mike Does and the Build Unique podcast, where we talk about building a unique lifestyle and a unique business and how we function around that lifestyle. I'm here today with my friend Paul Cummings. Before we get started talking to Paul, I want to take you to our sponsor, Wander Chat, for all your unique vacation rental needs. All right. You ready?
Sure, yeah.
You're a lot more versed in this than I am.
No,
So. All right. All right, Paul. So I appreciate you coming on. Look forward to this podcast. I've been excited about having you on. Tell me a little bit about Paul.
well, I'm really excited to be here because the last time we saw each other.
Oh, come on. Don't go there. Don't go there.
That was a dream come true.
That was depressing.
No, I took you to LSU.
Yeah.
Experience a game in
Death Valley. And the experience didn't go like I thought it would or how I planned. The last second, 1 point. Golly. I mean, who goes for two in overtime?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
LSU.
Brown Kelly.
Yeah.
Voodoo.
He got it.
So Michael, I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I love the fact that you make a living doing what you love to do every day. If you really love to do what you do.
So you figured out you decided you wanted to teach. How did that? Because I've kind of gone back and forth, and I'm like, yeah, I'm hot and cold on it, and I'm cold on my delivery, hot on the idea.
Well, let me say something to you. It's not a scalable business, teaching.
Yeah.
As much as I got paid, the most I was ever paid for a 1 hour speech was $50,000, but it's not scalable.
Sure.
Because if you, when I was teaching, the fact that I could see that look in the students' eyes, that they know that they found that something that would help them, it was nothing like that. So I believe it's a calling to teach. It's not scalable. I'm just keep saying that. If you want to teach, one thing, but if you want to scale your business, it can be completely different. So I looked at Woople as a means of scaling my business, because I could be everywhere at one time. I could record videos and sell subscriptions and have little Wooples falling out the sky. So I didn't have to scale my business. I was able to go and teach because I love to teach. My business, Woople, was the business that I scaled. I could have walked away from teaching, but I didn't. Because there's nothing like having that feeling that you help somebody else. I have made more people rich, and I didn't care to talk about over and over again. And people write me all the time that have been to Woople and said, this was the place when it all changed for me. Andy Heck, one of my good friends, the most, like, you need to get him on your show sometime. I'll hook it up. He set more goals than anybody I'd ever met in my life, and the best at it. But he built a business, an RV business, that's like a mammoth in size, a mammoth. And when he got to my place, he said, I don't know how to set goals. I said, do you write them down? Somewhat. Somewhat what? He said, some things that's important that I write down. How do you choose? You set a goal. Well, some goals are more important than other goals. I got that. If you set a goal, it's important. So we went through a process. Write it down. Think about it every day. Have to have a starting date and a completion date. You have to weigh the process of what's important to you because you're going to have to choose. Goals make you choose. If a goal doesn't make you choose, it's not a goal.
Not working.
Well, it has to force a choice. You do one thing or another, but you can't do both. You have to make a choice. And you have to weigh the obstacles in advance. You have to make sure the benefits crush the obstacles that you see. And you have to keep yourself on a straight track.
Yeah, writing down your goals is the most important part. It's like creating a roadmap.
It is.
You wouldn't take off driving across the country to San Francisco.
Well, people do.
Yeah, they do. But
Exactly.
how many times do they get lost along
Exactly.
the way? So if you don't write your goals out and have a map, a way to get to it, then you're going to be over here before you get here.
Do you write your goals down?
Of course.
Have you always done that?
No.
What was the change for you?
Listening to Jim Rohn.
He's the best.
Yeah, I love listening to Jim and Zig Ziglar, and it's just a lot of fun.
What's your favorite Zig quote?
Live every day like you're going to Acapulco tomorrow. Yeah, it was the story.
I know.
Yeah.
And my favorite quote is give yourself a checkup from the neck up so you don't die from hardening of the attitudes.
Another one I like was if you help enough people get what they want, you get everything in life you want.
That's true. So. That's true. And that's I think that being around people like that was the thing that I got the most benefit of. Being
you got the ability to teach with those guys.
Yes, I did.
Speaking on stage.
I did. Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Harvey McKay, Ken Blanchard, all of them. Yeah.
That's just. The thought of being able to even see those guys in person and listen to because I don't have that opportunity. I can listen to them online, and but they're all of them. But I guess Tony Robbins are past.
Yeah.
But that's.
I don't think Ken's passed.
I'm not familiar with him.
Ken Blanchard, the 1 Minute Manager.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Probably 4th best-selling author of all times.
Okay. I'll check that out.
Okay.
We'll put that in the show notes.
The 1 Minute Manager. Get that book.
Okay.
Yeah, good. So, because for me, when I've never gotten nervous in my life on stage. My stage was my refuge. That's what I loved. I would rather walk on stage than do anything else. And I loved it.
Yeah, it used to drive me crazy, and it would scare me to death. And I get up there, and the first 3 minutes or 5 minutes of my talk, you could hear it in my breathing. You could see it. You could tell I was nervous. And now, I still get a little nervous before I go up, but I'm a lot more confident. It comes out a lot smoother, and the flow's a lot better. So I'm gonna say I'm efficient, but I'm getting better.
Well, I'm sure you are. For me, just when I had my stroke 4.5 years ago, and I couldn't talk, and I couldn't read, and I couldn't write at all, and laying there and thinking about. I could understand everything that was going on, but the only word I could say was 111. That's it. And when you have, my son said to me, when you have your gifts stolen, that was like a thief in the night. When I had my stroke, I didn't even know what aphasia is. I've never heard that word, aphasia. Or motor praxia or dysarthria or anything like that.
I've never heard of it until I met you.
Yeah, Bruce Willis has the same thing. And he's struggling, and it's a horrible disease to have because you have to think of every word that you want to say in real time. and pray, it gets through the 30%. You know, I've had 30% of my brain cells destroyed on the left side of my brain. 30%. It's navigating through all those cells and hoping what comes out of my mouth is what I wanted to say, because it's not sometimes a lot. I tell the story all the time. I never used a note mic in my life. Never used a note. Never walked on the stage with a note. I never said perfect. And I talk so fast, probably too fast. And all of a sudden I was like thinking what I'm going to do with my life. And I just wanted to tell your audience, listen, if God saved you, there's a purpose.
Sure.
He could have let me die. And I'm telling you, he could have let me die. And my son thought when he put me on that helicopter, he would never see me again. And he called all my closest friends and said, Dad's going to die. And when I got to the hospital and I was on the roof at that hospital and this doctor was screaming in my face, how many fingers? How many fingers? I couldn't talk. So he was talking about doing surgery on it. I was doing this, you know, don't do surgery on me. I couldn't say it. But anyway, when my son, Ryan, walked in my garage at Harrison and said, Dad, I know all your gifts has been stolen. I know you're mad. I know you're angry. I know you feel very isolated. I know you have been depressed. And he paused and had a book and pulled out this book, a pre-K kindergarten book, and laid it right there and said, Dad, you have to start somewhere. And he turned around to walk out and he said, by the way, Dad, just do what you taught other people to do. So it would have been a shame. I was the level 10 guy. I started that brand. And I would walk through airports and people would say, level 10! I was known by that. And all over the world. It would have been a shame if I wouldn't apply the same rules that have held other people accountable for. And, you know, it's my favorite quote by my grandfather, it's never too late to become the person you might have been or would like to be. It's never too late. So I found myself at 61, built a worldwide business. Everything was gone. Everything was gone. I had homes all over the world. I couldn't pay for it. I had to cancel. I couldn't even tell my my clients that had my stroke. Think about that. I had speaking engagements I was scheduled to do. I was not showing up.
But nobody knew who to call and cancel?
No. So it was just like, you think about it, the fact that I got through that and my son finally figured out that I needed to write a letter to somebody. And he said, Dad, he said, he would ask me, and I said, he would write it again. I said, we got it right. And he wrote, every day is a gift, and put it out like everywhere and telling that I had my stroke, and people started calling, and people called because there was concern. People called because they wanted the money back, and I had to refund $1.5 million in prepaid speaking engagements.
Tough check to write.
Well, it was the right thing to do.
It definitely was.
It was the right thing to do. Do what's right. Do it to the best of your ability, and treat people the way you like to be treated. That's where it's my 3 rules in my policy manual. That was it. Do what's right.
So, post-stroke, what motivates you now?
Living. When I sat down,
so you look at life a little differently.
Mike, completely differently, because when I was doing my business, I was all over the place. I was traveling, I was doing all these things, and I had a very blessed life. But when you almost lose your life, when you take that last breath, and I did, and they brought me back, but when you take that last breath and you get a second chance at life, you look at things differently. Not, I was angry because I couldn't talk. I was depressed because I couldn't talk. And so my mom called me, and I answered the phone, 11111. He said, "Suck it up, Buttercup." That was my mom. And she said, "I'm tired of hearing you whine. Talk. Talk." Think about that. Talk. One word, talk. And when I got off that phone, I had my first speech lesson the next day. And I don't say everything clearly, but I have added 25,000 words from in the last 4.5 years that I couldn't say.
So are you? Is that look like practicing different words now, or is that?
No, I just did what I taught other people to do. I believe that all this things that I'd written, the 9-squared grid, the my sales techniques, my surveys that was all given to me to help me learn how to talk again. And I didn't know it at the time, but so for instance, if I said to you, NP, BHT, IU, PAM, IC, EPOMJ, WEYT, WYDMAF, PTMN. You have any idea?
Well, so we just had to stop right halfway through this clip just a second ago when you were doing the same thing, and we're going back and doing another take. And you told me the first two words were no problem. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm gonna try to figure this out as you went. I have no clue.
BHT, be happy to.
Okay.
IC, I'm confident. For instance, if you were selling something, that would be no problem. I would be happy to work I'm confident that you'll understand when I'm through with my presentation. So anyway, it was a word grid. NP, BAT, IU, I understand. PAM, please allow me. IC, I'm confident. EPOMJ, easiest part of my job. Wouldn't expect you to. Would you do me a favor and please tell me no? All of a sudden, I realized that I have done all these things that I had taught other people to do that I could learn again because it was present mind. So all of a sudden, I scratched everything and got in my own book. In my own book. And I have taught so many people to learn how to talk again that was stuck in this bubble we call aphasia, because aphasia, there's no cure for it at all. If you met one person with aphasia, you met one person with aphasia. It's all different. But I believe all that work, say this with me. I understand how you feel.
How you feel.
Say it backwards.
You feel. I can't even say it backwards.
I understand how you feel. Feel you, Al, understand I. In fact, recently, back in, feel you, how, understand I. I worked with another couple another work with recently, back then, feel you, how, understand I. I taught myself to talk frontwards, backwards in the last 4 years. So the fact that I'd done that before gave me hope that I could do it again. But it's revolutionized in some ways the way aphasia is taught.
So now you're helping others with aphasia work through the same problems.
I am.
Okay. And that everything leading up to where you are now has prepared you for that.
Exactly. I'm telling you, I have a good friend, Bradlin May, that had a stroke 23 years ago. And he's a great guy. And I wish I could have the chance to work with him all the time because he's a coach. And you can tell he's a coach, just like a linebacker coach. You can just feel it in his blood. But he's stuck in this bubble we call aphasia. And he sits in his apartment, goes to the school, helps out. But I know he wants to talk so bad. And I don't know why I've been able to learn to talk again. I wasn't supposed to be able to learn to talk again. I have primary progressive aphasia, that's the worst kind. And I believe this happened for me to realize that I was given the gift of teaching for a different reason than I thought. It wasn't to make all the money.
I mean, that's absolutely why you've been able to talk, because so you can be a light and show others that hey, you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
And but anyway, I'm telling you, when you meet like you, when I met you, I was so impressed with you for a couple of reasons, more than that now. But when I met you the first time, I thought this guy has it figured out. No. It's really important to me to say this because I think it might help somebody else. So I want to say it. When I met you and I realized you were building, you in the container home business, you build unique experiences, but that's not why. You are in the business of maintaining a happy family and being able to be around them. So I didn't have that choice. I was gone all the time, Mike, till I built my farm. That's what allowed me to stay home. But your family, if you wanted to see you light up, when I met your kids, that's when you light up. When I met Tia, that's when you light up. And I believe all this that you're doing, and you built a brand about Mike Does about that. It's not the containers you're building. When you show those containers, it's the love on your face. I'm telling you, you light up like a dime. You know, I'm telling you.
You know what makes me proud and what makes me light up is I think is the satisfaction in seeing that it makes others happy. You know that it brings joy to others when they see them, when they get up there and experience it, and each property's different, and you know that's it's never been about the money to me. It's about the experience that we're creating and the story that we're telling, and you know it's just
Now, Michael, I'm gonna call you out.
oh yeah.
You have alligator arms.
What's that?
You can't use your wallet.
Yeah, well, it's down there.
Oh, that's a good thing. You know why?
What's that?
It's easy to spend money and waste it.
Oh, it is.
Been there, done that. So you asked me what I would. I think you asked me what I would tell anybody that's starting out. The most important thing is save your freaking money.
So have a nice day.
Oh, more
Don't
than
blow it all.
more than live like you're broke. You don't have to.
So what's the best way to go about that?
Okay, I believe you know the rule of 72. That should be taught in kindergarten. Do you know the rule of 72?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you divide an interest rate into 72, it tells you how many years. Yes, exactly. So I would say, for instance, people that save 20% of their money is going to build a nest egg. If you save 40% of your money and live on the 60%, I would suggest that. And people say, oh, I can't do that. I said, you can't do it? Why?
You did it when you were in college.
Exactly. All you have to do is live below your means. And I lived below my means forever and ever and ever. And what I did wrong was I was making so much money that I didn't think it would ever end. And I'm going to suggest to you, don't do that. Just save your money. Not till it doesn't matter anymore. It's going to always matter that you save your money. And I just believe you don't need to be wasteful. You need to have some common sense. And just don't think that things can't happen to you.
That's you know, I told you a little bit about what's going on at the office here, and you know, you just never know, and things can change in a split second. And I'm sure you know, you go to bed one day and wake up the next.
I was
in a helicopter.
Flew home for Mother's Day from Australia. Had a best-selling book. I was lit like my dreams has come true. Amplify. Flew home and woke up and couldn't talk on Mother's Day 4.5 years ago, May 13th, 2018. And you think about it, I talked for a living. Everything that I did was talk related. My books, my speaking, my Woople videos. I served 1 billion minutes of content worldwide. All of a sudden, I couldn't couldn't do my daily show, couldn't do my weekly show, couldn't do my monthly show. All the subscriptions ended up canceling because I didn't do the one thing I should have done. I didn't replicate myself. But, and every time I tried to, people say, that's not you. That's just an imitation of you. I would rather pay you full fee than listen to a Memorex version.
Yeah, and I get that, and I put that the same way with and I know it's nowhere near the same, but
it is.
If people are like, why don't you hire this out? Well, then I'm not the one being creative and not the one giving the input and making sure it's done exactly the way I want it to be done. And it's hard for me to let go of my craft and my work and give it to somebody else and let go of that control. I know that I could probably, grow a lot quicker and do a lot more if I let go of the building side and focused on acquisitions and buying more unique lots. But I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying myself. I'm able to be with my family, building 1 to 2 at a time, and it's working.
Well, so, it's absolutely working.
So that's me, and I think that goes back to success. And I got into an argument. I was in my early or mid 20s, I guess, and I was arguing with somebody online about success, and as much as I hate to admit it, they were right. But it was she was talking about being successful, and I was relating success to a monetary, to a number, or to okay, you make X dollars a year. If your passion is raising butterflies, and you raise the most beautiful butterflies, then you're successful. It doesn't have to be a monetary thing. So I feel like I think so. So I think Gary Vaynerchuk said success to him is waking up with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Or waking up the next day. Just let success be what it is for you.
Yeah, I think everybody has a different way of defining success, and people get caught up in chasing down something they're not passionate about because they're like, oh, this guy's successful, I'm going to do that. I believe you have to find inside of you what makes you happy. And you're going to have to do a lot of things that doesn't necessarily make you happy. I'm sure when you have to go back to some destination that you just left and you thought you home through the weekend, something breaks and you have to go back. Yeah. That doesn't really make you. I am so thrilled. I am so glad that broke. I didn't want to spend my time with my family. I just cancel that. No.
It happens.
It does. That's part of the game we play.
I'd a whole lot rather be going over there and fixing that than I had punching a clock.
Exactly.
So, but that's what people don't see though. I worked from, my after I left high school, I worked third shift at jobs I didn't like, or I was selling insurance, or I was doing pest control at night, so I could still do the real estate during the day and make my parents happy because they wanted me to have a job with benefits. No telling what that cost me. Working the job with benefits because I was giving up my sleep. I was missing all the kids' birthdays and missing all the family functions. And, in the name of building my business. Back. No, you can't get it back. But I was building my business, and I thought that's what I had to do until, one of my mentors, he said, you know what, job's costing you money. And I turned in my notice the next day.
You did?
Because he was absolutely right. I just looked at him, I was like, man, why did it take you having to tell me that for me to do it? I knew it the whole time, but that security and then making my parents happy.
Yeah, I need to say one thing that because I will fail to mention that, and my mom was right. My mom told me probably 15 years ago. So she says, son, they're going to put on your tombstone. You gave till you gave out.
Powerful.
Mm-hmm. And I said, Mom, I'm making so much money. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be okay. I kept giving. If somebody needs something in Chattanooga, they call Paul, because I just wrote those checks. Gave away so much money. So you don't have any idea. And my mom called me and said, son, if you don't stop, you're going to give till you give out. You can't be everything to everybody. What about you? Mom, I'm fine. I was lying. I was developed a habit of eating late at night, didn't get any sleep at all, running nonstop. I talked myself into having a stroke. I had a rare blood condition. I had had blood clots 6 times. Every time I had surgery, I clotted. Never got it addressed. I didn't slow down. It's been said that if you spend your life trying to be wealthy and don't care of your health, you're going to spend your wealth taking care of your health later on. That's where I am.
Well, and I'm right there. I mean, I'm out of shape. I'm overweight. It's been one of those things where it didn't affect me. It didn't slow me down. It didn't do anything until I hit 40, 41. And then I start feeling it, and it's like, oh man, I need to fix this, and I think it was, oh man, I can't remember. I'm horrible with names, but he told a story about, imagine I was going to give you a car, and it's the car of your dreams. Any car you want, you pick the car. And then, so you pick this car, and then he said, okay, the only condition is that's the only car you get for the rest of your life. You're going to take care of that car.
Yeah.
So your body's the same way. Without
it
your
is.
Health, without your health, what good's the wealth?
And so I'm just, when I said that you're going to give till you get out, I did. And because you can't go rewind the tape. Life doesn't come with an eraser. You can't go back to Monday night. I wish that I hadn't done that. Ooh, wish I hadn't drank that much on Saturday night.
There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I love the saying, I should, till I should all over myself. Sitting in a pile of should, it doesn't smell very good.
I like that. A pile of should that doesn't smell good. So, man, this has been great, and I really appreciate you coming on. And we're going to have to do a second episode.
Well, we have to do, maybe we can do it better. Because I had the gate incident happen right before. But anyway, I hope your assistant is okay. And I know that's weighing on your mind, but I appreciate you coming out. I have to ask one more question.
All right.
If you ever had any experience so good that you had in Tiger Stadium, I'm just telling you, it was so good. Didn't even go to overtime. Who calls a 2-point conversion with 1 second left on the clock?
Crazy.
You were ready to get out of there.
I thought we had it won. I
know.
thought we won.
You were
grinning. It's done. And then, man, seconds, inches, and points. I mean, it
was a great game.
It was a great game.
Yeah. It was a great game. I'm glad we had that experience together, and I appreciate you coming down. It was I think Ryan had a good time too.
I think so.
And Ronaldo's a great guy.
I tried to get tickets to the Iron Bowl for us and just couldn't come across
Really?
it. Yeah, I looked and looked.
Yeah. That's okay. They won, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
your favorite book of all time. I know you
The
mentioned a
Greatest Secret in the World.
The Greatest Secret in the World. What is it about?
Ogmandino is about scrolls.
Scrolls. Okay. You're gonna leave us hanging. We'll have to dig in.
Scrolls.
All right. And your favorite quote?
God.
You got so many of them. I wish I could remember these quotes.
Can I give you my top 5?
Top 5. Bring it.
Okay. Enthusiasm is an inside gift with an outside reflection.
Love it.
Passion prevails when everything else fails. If it is to be, it's up to me. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. It's never too late, but become the person you might have been or would like to be. That's it.
Love it. Can't beat that. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Paul, how do we find you?
Paul at paulcummings.com. And I am at I am Paul Cummings on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, at I am Paul Cummings.
All right. Sounds good. We'll get that in the show notes. See you guys next week.